Hi, Todd VanDenburg here with VanDenburg Capital Management and another Uncommon Sense update. So it's been a minute since I posted an update like this. To be honest, I was sort of holding off because we have a new administration. They're trying a bunch of new stuff. Wanted to give it at least a little bit of time to sort of see how things might start to play out. It's still way too soon. I mean, oh my gosh, the new administration and the new people in Washington have only been there for like 6 weeks. But there's enough information now, I think, to sort of see some trends. So uh, if you follow the news or if you just are living and breathing, oh my gosh, we've all got whiplash or motion sickness. I'm not sure what it is, but the pace at which the Trump administration is issuing executive orders and taking actions is just it's unheard of, and it's causing some concern. I mean, as I'm going to show you in a quick chart here, if you look at the performance of the markets since the election, what you see is this big M as in Mary pattern. Oh boy, things are going to be great. Oh no, things are going to be bad, right? And up, down, up, down. And we're right now at a macro level at the tail end of the M, and right now things are trailing down. But if you look at trading in any given day, you'll see little mini M's, and you'll see, oh my gosh, the markets are up at the open, and then they're down, and oh no, they're coming back a little bit. Oh no, they're down. It's just what that should tell anybody is this isn't about math. This is about emotion and maybe a little manipulation. Large institutional investors have the ability to move the markets one way or the other over the short term. And so, that's what I think we're seeing right now is, a lot of the big money investors are really just trying to figure out what's the direction, where are we headed? So let's talk about that for a second. Within the new administration, they have this thing called the DOGE team, DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and a lot of people, that it's headed by Elon Musk, and there's a lot of concern about what they're doing and how they're doing it, and oh my gosh, they're doing things that are unconstitutional, or they're doing the greatest things in the world. I mean, there's a lot of perspective or opinion going into the observations about the DOGE team. But basically what the DOGE team is doing is they're gathering as much data as they possibly can. And Elon Musk hinted on this like a week ago. They're taking all this data from all the different organizations, and they're putting it into an AI model, an artificial intelligence model. And the AI is basically spitting out places that they then send humans to go take a look at. And the one biggest one that I think that we've been talking about here for the last couple of weeks are all of the huge number of people that are still show up in the Social Security database as being over age 120. And I think there's millions of them. I mean, it's insane. Now, that doesn't mean that the Social Security Administration is actually sending them money, but the Social Security database is sort of a storehouse that's used by lots of other federal organizations for providing benefits to people, Medicare, Medicaid, food SNAP. Sorry, they used to call it food stamps. Now it's called SNAP. So if somebody might not be receiving Social Security, but they might be using this, an active record for a 130-year-old person who's obviously dead in order to commit fraud against some other government organization. So, artificial intelligence just goes to look into these kinds of things, and they're going to uncover this. Now, is that the reason why the federal government is spending so much money? Of course not. But we should expect these kinds of things to be uncovered as the artificial intelligence starts looking at Medicare, Medicaid. The purpose of artificial intelligence looking at these things is not to take legitimate recipients off of those programs. It's to identify, waste, fraud, and abuse that we can afford to just, do away with. And if you look at the trustee report that comes out every year from the Medicare, Medicaid trustees, they think that there could be tens or hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud, waste, and abuse in the Medicare, Medicaid system. It's just nobody really had the bandwidth or the desire up to this point to really dive into it and figure it out. And this is one of the great uses for AI, is that if you can teach AI what to look for, it doesn't sleep, it doesn't eat, it doesn't have a supervisor. It's just working all day long, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, looking through all this data so that it can then, come to, or at least provide a human with some analysis that then the human can go, okay, oh, that doesn't make any sense, we should look into that, or no, that's completely legitimate. And the really cool part about AI is that AI learns from its mistakes. So if it uncovers something that's not an issue, you basically teach the AI that, hey, you uncovered this, it wasn't an issue, here's why, and then the AI doesn't uncover it again. It learns like we do. So we should expect a lot of that. We should also expect to see, a lot of government employees finding new employment, and that's really unsettling for the people in the government that are having to find new jobs. Now, I think it was like 75,000 of those people actually voluntarily accepted separation. So and basically some benefits that allow them to get paid for, I think it's 8 months. Some other people, there was another program where they were often offering a $25,000 bonus if you would just quit. This is stuff that we've never heard of, right? We've never seen the government do anything like this. So we should expect to see the number of government employees going down substantially in the coming year, probably, and that will be reflected in the Bureau of Labor Statistics reports. We just had one come out today that was a little less than expectation. It showed 151,000 new jobs added. The expectation was 170,000, but that same report showed 10,000 jobs lost out of the federal government. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you here is, much like President Trump said in his, it's not a State of the Union because they don't do that in like the first year of a term, whatever they call it, in his speech a couple days ago, he even admitted, as the DOGE team and the new administration and all the cabinet secretaries go through line by line, job by job, everything that the federal government is doing and has been doing, there's going to be some disruption. And as President Trump called it, he said that there'll be a little bit of pain. He said that it won't be for long and it won't be much. I don't think that we know that yet, but there will be some pain. I mean, if you take a couple 100,000 or more federal employees and you say it's time for you to go find new work, that adds to the unemployment, which makes the unemployment rate go up. Oh, and if the federal government spends less money, government spending takes up about 20% of GDP, or makes up about 20% of GDP. So we all know that the government has to spend less money. I mean, it's adding to our debt to the tune of $2 trillion a year. It's ridiculous how much new debt we're adding every year. So everybody agrees the government's got to spend less money, because you could tax the top 10% 3 times what we tax them now, and it's not going to make a dent in the $2 trillion of annual deficit spending that the federal government is doing right now. So it's fine if one set of people wants to raise taxes to increase more revenue. That's fine, but boy, we really have to be reducing the size of government in order to get our debt under control. And I'm sort of rambling through like a stream of consciousness here because there's so many different elements at play. If we cut if the federal government is reduced in size and it spends $1 trillion less this coming year than they did last year, we'd still add to the debt another $1 trillion. But we would be pulling $1 trillion out of GDP. So then our GDP doesn't look so good. But is it a bad thing that we're reducing the size of government in order to get our spending under control? No, of course that's not a bad thing. So we got to be careful, to weigh all these different elements, because if we just go, oh my gosh, GDP doesn't look good, so that must be bad. Well, if you don't look at why, if it's because we've reduced government spending and we're getting our fiscal house in order, that's a good thing. That's a long-term, really positive thing, for the United States. So that's sort of where I am right now. We're 3 months since the election, 6 weeks into a new administration. There really hasn't been enough time for their actions to have really taken hold. So, and that's why we're seeing volatility shaped like an M, is nobody really knows, huge amounts of speculation, and lacking any data that sets a clear direction that we're headed, to nirvana or to the bad place. I think we just need to exercise a little bit of patience, and that's what we're doing right here, right now. It isn't the time to be, selling everything and heading for the hills. Again, there is no doubt that what this new administration is doing is unprecedented. Potentially, some of it is unconstitutional. That's not uncommon. In my lifetime, presidents have tried to get away with more than they're supposed to every time. So what we have to look at is, what is the real impact of the actions of the administration? How does it impact the U.S. economy? A lot of people are talking about tariffs and how, oh my gosh, the tariffs are going to cause the price of everything to go up and the economy is going to fail. Those people didn't really pay attention during the first Trump administration when he basically took the same actions, and inflation was at historic low levels for 3 of the 4 years, because the last year was a pandemic year. So we can't just assume that tariffs mean bad. And the way I know that all of what's going on in the markets right now is just uncertainty and a little bit of fear is, you can go to the financial news shows and you'll have 2 people look at exactly the same set of data. One says it looks awesome and the other says it looks horrible. And to me, that means that the data is inconclusive, and really their own little bias is what's driving their opinion. And I'm just not going to play that game. Right now, the U.S. economy looks strong. Tariffs could potentially be a problem. But if at the same time that tariffs are being used, government involvement in the U.S. economy is being reduced, well, then that means economic activity in the United States in the private sector would be growing, and that would be good. So again, this is a balancing act, and we're only 6 weeks in. So I want to wrap this up with just like my hope for everybody, and that is, be patient, relax. There is no doubt that the new administration is like a bull in a china shop, and by bringing Elon Musk in to head up the DOGE team, that guy's a bull in a china shop. But we got to just take a minute, be vigilant, make sure that what they're doing is appropriate, legal. They get to do what's within their authority, whether half the country likes it or not. But if what they do isn't legal, of course, we've got to challenge them and we've got to hold them accountable. But we got to be patient because nobody argues that we shouldn't be reducing the size of government and the effect of government on the US economy. Our fiscal house in the United States is out of control, $36 trillion of debt, and we're adding 2 trillion new dollars to that debt every year. The interest on the debt exceeds the amount of money we spend in the Defense Department, over $1 trillion a year. These things must change. Now, how they go about being changed, that's what we're going to be looking at so that we can make sure that, we're not in the markets too long, or we don't exit too early. That's why this is a hard job. There's a lot of opinions right now. Again, we're only 6 weeks into this administration, and it's just too soon to really know with any certainty how this sort of is going to start to play out. We should, in the next couple of months, have a better handle on it. But for right now, I'm just recommending patience. If you don't have to watch, the news and follow the daily, gyrations of the new administration, if I were you, I wouldn't do it. If I didn't have to, I wouldn't do it. But I have to, so I'm watching everything every day, looking for those indications that things could be going south, or whether they're going to be going well, have positive effects. So if anybody has any questions about this, or you just need someone to talk to about in more detail about the economy or your portfolio or any of that kind of stuff, please give me a call, shoot me a message. I would much rather talk to you about these kinds of things than have you make a mistake like a lot of people did during the financial crisis, jumped out and then couldn't find their way back in because the markets rebounded so quickly that they just kept waiting for it to come back. You've got to let math drive your decisions. You can't let fear or greed drive your decisions. So that was your update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like, give us a share, and I'll be back again soon with another Uncommon Sense update. Thank you for watching.
If you'd like to be the first to hear of more Uncommon Sense updates like these, please click the subscribe button below. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks again.